Now is the time, a time you'll look back on, a time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time, this moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome, take over. The time is now.
Hello. We're back. We're not so smiley today. We're all smiley, but we're not as smiley as normal. And of course, it's myself and Richie that delivered the bad news. Where's Emma? If we had won today, there'd be a packed house. We'd fallen over each other. But not a great day at the office today. But still, it was against Liverpool, so what do you expect, really? The end of the home run of wins is over, but that was a good run. We enjoyed it. Rich, you were at the game today. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, it was good atmosphere as per usual. But obviously, we'll get into the game in a minute, and just a little bit disappointed to come away with a narrow defeat.
Yeah, maybe we'll just get straight through it. And welcome to anyone that's joined us. So let's get straight into the team news. So, some changes. And let's just look to my notes. So, no Wood. Shar is back in. Dumont was back on the bench. And Miggy was back in for us. And big changes in the Liverpool squad then. There was no Salah, Trent, Fabinho, or Thiago. So, the rest of the players with Champions League there the other day. And the second leg coming up as well. So, Then there was another great display as usual. Now we've come to expect it from War Flags, and anyone that hasn't seen it or wasn't watching live, check out the flag. Or you know what? Let's play it. I have a little clip to show people. So it was that good, and I'm sure Richie, you enjoyed that as well. So maybe we play it and get your take on the War Flags display again today. Great atmosphere, I'd say, Richie, was it?
It was, yeah. It was. I think, you know what, when the teams were announced, and obviously you saw that Liverpool were resting players, which was inevitable with in between two important Champions League semi-finals. It sort of raised the atmosphere even more because it was the pretty much rested the full midfield three, Trent Alexander and Salah, but you still look at the front three that they had out there, and you're still thinking, dear me, it's like it's one of those things. You still got Diaz, Mane, and Jota up front, and it's it was good. And I said the atmosphere was raised because of the team that Liverpool announced as well. So it was nice to see the Leazes involved for a change. And I actually think that the one good thing I would have it at the Leazes end today, it actually shows the full size of the flag, because I think with obviously the way the roof is on the Gallagher, sometimes you don't get to see how high it actually goes. But with the Leazes being open, obviously not covering the Liverpool fans up, even though it would have been nice to cover them up for 90 minutes, But it was good to see the actual size of the whole flag itself. So it was credit to War Flags as per usual. Another top-notch display by them.
Yeah, no, definitely impressive. And of course, Richie, you had a class view as you shared with us. Nice view there, Richie.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what I said? We were sitting various seats with the bench, so you can experience different aspects of the ground this season. And obviously, with the queue that there was to get tickets and stuff like that, and everybody wanted to go and see Liverpool for obvious reasons. Only tickets we get were there when the level 7 gods. But you know what? The Ben turned up says, he says, I absolutely love the seat. You can the view, you can see everything on the pitch, you get the angles, and it's a little bit higher than what you would see on the TV cameras. And he absolutely loved it, and he was still engrossed, even though he was really looking forward to seeing the players and stuff. He was a bit disappointed that Salah wasn't starting because he plays for Liverpool, but he does appreciate like a good football, a world-class football. Do you know what I mean? That was one of the reasons why I really wanted to go to see the Liverpool game, because we can't see the Arsenal game just because it's on Monday night, and obviously my football comes before that, unfortunately, because it's I'm running, so I couldn't get out of that one. Yeah, so I can't make the last game of the season, unfortunately, but it was good to get there. We kept it as a surprise for him. He didn't know until we got till last night. We dropped it on him, and he, it sort of hit home. He was like really ecstatic. He hadn't, the excitement built up overnight, and he was raring to go this morning. He had his money out so he could go and buy his retro shirt at the club shop the day and stuff like that. So yeah, it was nice to see that, and just a shame the result didn't go the way that he was hoping. So
yeah, I suppose people listen to us now thinking, are they going to start talking about the game? Well, yeah, we're talking about the views and flags because the game. Yeah, do we want to get into it? We'll get into it. Of course, Southgate was there sitting beside Amanda. As well, nice to see the England manager coming to St James's Park. Right, let's get into the game. So lively start. Newcastle on the press. Liverpool had some half chances the first 10 minutes or so. Kraft took one off the toe of Manny, but it was offside. But it was still well played by Kraft. We run it on to, I think it was 19 minutes. Yep. And then there was the challenge then one, let's get straight into it. The challenge from James Milner on Schär, who was just after signing extra 2-year contract with us. So it was great news that the Schär signed up will be with us again next season. But yeah, the challenge came in. When I saw it in my first viewing of it, I thought definite foul, and okay, it doesn't really matter if the ball goes in the net here, and which it did. But it's going to be pulled back again. VAR definitely pull it back. There was a 1-2 with Jota to Naby Keita, and through bodies, and he put it in the back of the net. But I said, sure, this is definitely going to go to VAR and be ruled out. But then when I played it back, I said, oh shit, yeah, James Milner does get there first, and it's more Schär that kind of connects with him at the end of it, and Schär stayed down. He's not the best actor in the world, but for me it was a valid goal. It wasn't foul. You, Richie, your thoughts?
I haven't had a chance to view it back as yet. But when we saw it live, we saw everyone in the ground thought it was a foul and it was outrageous. So obviously I can't really comment on it from obviously seeing it again like you have, sort of thing. But I think what you've got to do is you win it you don't get the decision. I think you still keep on going, sort of thing, rather than protesting. I think perhaps we protested a little bit too much and we got distracted by that. And you should always play at the whistle. And then, as you said, Daz, if the ball goes to the back, that you think it's going to go to VAR and get ruled out, sort of thing. And I don't know if that's a good thing that players adapt, sort of thing. Now they think that they're dead set. It's a nailed on foul. So they sort of switch off a little bit. And unfortunately, on this case, we got hit by it. And, that's it. Well, I think what's more frustrating is that's the one goal that separated the two sides on the day. I've got to say mine, and I don't know what the people's opinion is in the chat, or yours as well, Daz, but I did think Andre Mariner I do think it was Andre Mariner today, was it? I didn't look at the...
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it looked like it by the way he was running about the pitch like a headless chicken. But I've got to say that was one of the most one-sided refereeing displays I've seen in the Premier League this season. It just basically every time that Jordan Henderson or James Milner got around him, there was a foul straight away, or it was given, and there was obvious ones on us not giving and stuff like that. It was just. I think there's one in the second. It might be in the end of the first half that was literally on the edge of the 18-yard box for us, and he didn't give it. And it was an awful display. We had to look to see which of the management team would go and approach him at half time, and sure enough, Mad Dog Tyndall was waiting for him as they walked off at half time, as he got the the boos that the performance from Mariner deserved that first half. But yeah, Mad Dog was there to give the NUFC point of view as he was going off. So I would love to know what he said on that one. But yeah, there's a lot of people weren't happy about that performance today.
Yeah, I didn't really blame the referee for anything as such. We didn't get much right, but and a few things like went against us. I suppose there's a look at we getting into it, but yeah, it was an incident as well. I think I have a picture of it here. I did have. Yeah, I do have it. Yeah, there was an incident where there was a bit of a push first on Joe Linton, and then there was. Jota was kind of involved in the incident with J7, and of course J7 isn't going to hold back, and the bit of to and fro, and both of them got a yellow card. Yeah, little things like that. Well, I would have expected, but both of them get a yellow card to tell you the truth. So I wasn't. Maybe it's that we're safe anyway, and I wasn't. I just thought Liverpool were going to run right today. I was kind of happy enough that they didn't. But let's get into it. We'll play it on a bit further, Richie.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Liverpool seemed to up the pressure then. And then there was another chance where Diaz onto Manny and a good save from Dubs. Maybe put the ball in the net as well at one stage. It was ruled offside. I think Bruno played that ball through. I think that was the correct decision as well.
Yeah, it was a mile offside. We called it before when he went back to the net.
Yeah. Jota then again a header and Dub saved again. That brought us to halftime. So the pressure at that stage was building by Liverpool. They were going for it. We came out then in the second half, and there was on the 50, we kind of upped the pace a bit, but then on the 58 minute or so, a double save from Dubravka, which he was class today. He needs to be. It would have been 3-0 or so. But for him today. Then on 60 minutes, Shark come off, bit of an injury, so hopefully that's not too bad. The Cell's on. Willock come off. Yeah, we're kind of saying in the chat, Steph and Chris and they were saying in the chat at halftime, that Willock wasn't doing much in the first half. In the second half, he did pick it up a small bit, but then he was taken off in the 66 minutes. But again, he's playing against Liverpool. Look at their class. So, but yeah, Wood come on then. Yeah, we're calling for Wood to come on. Liverpool up their game again. Dubravka was keeping us in it. There was a 76th minute. Then there was a chance where Bruno onto ASM, and ASM was feeding the ball through to Wood. I don't know if you remember that, Richie. And if ASM played the ball a bit quicker, he just kind of seemed to dilly-dally on it a little while too long, and played the ball to Wood. It was saved, but it was already offside. So, but I think, look at it, it was saved by the keeper anyway. It was 1-on-1 with the keeper, I suppose, at that stage. Then Murphy come on for Kraft. Bruno had a shot then the 86th minute as well. All in all, then that was pretty much it. That took us to full time, and a 1-0 defeat for us. But I'm not too disappointed. We're safe. It was our objective for the season is over. If we just look at this game, I thought they put up a fight. They're playing Liverpool, who are unreal. Liverpool and City are miles ahead of everyone else. As everyone says, two of the best teams in the world, never mind in the Premier League. And so not too disheartened. It could have been more apart from Dubravka on form today. As well as that, it took two at times to stop Bruno, and Diaz was unreal. That was one of the first times really I saw him play a full game, and he was a real handler. I'd love a player like that, kind of pacey, tricky kind of winger. But yeah, we really just lacked the quality up front, Richie. For me, just the class just shone through, and that's not a bad thing because we know the level where we're at. It's kind of we're kind of probably too high up the table for how we are. So it's no harm to highlight it. I think I'm sorry, I'll give you a chance to talk as well, Rich.
No, it's all right.
I think whatever about today, 1-0 defeat at home, I think the City game, that could be an awful lot worse. But yeah, your thoughts, Richie?
As I said, when we saw the team sheet, it did seem to give everyone a bit of a lift because they were resting some key players. And a lot of people that I spoke to thought we could definitely get something from the game today. I thought we'd get at least a point. And I think that the frustration comes from, and I think this is what happens with Newcastle going to run. We've got, we can either be optimistic fans or pessimistic fans, sort of things. And today it was one of those where would you have took a 1-0 defeat if, in a close game and stuff like that, against one of the best teams in the league, in the world, should we say, really? You would possibly say yes when you do that. But I think that when you actually look back in hindsight, it's like, you look at the game at Anfield, we went 1-0 up at Anfield. They got a goal from when, Hayden got put down and stuff like that. And then obviously they got the equaliser off that when there shouldn't have been. And then you look at the third goal at the end when Trent Alexander-Arnold ran across and sorry, Mike Dean ran across the view and stuff like that. And you think, everyone goes on, it was 3-1. But to me, that doesn't really show the full side of that game, the Anfield one. But today it was, what left me frustrated was the fact I don't think we gave it a go. That was the problem for me. And the one thing that the people I've spoke to at the game and afterwards is the final third was the problem. If you look between the two teams, they were pretty evenly balanced about it. But then you see that phenomenal front three. Well, then to bring Salah on in the second half, and then that was the main difference today for me. It was the quality in that final third. We got into places where we were trying to put through balls through, but every single time we had a goal ruled off for Miggy offside. Yeah, it was clear cut offside, a couple of yards offside. We sort of straight away called it. We didn't even bother standing up to celebrate it because we could see how far offside he was. And then obviously you go to the one later on with Chris Wood, and yeah, it was a bit closer. But the frustrating thing for me is that Wood, it wasn't a really hard save for Alisson to make. Do you know what I mean? It was pretty much straight at him sort of thing. He just really hit it towards him and tried to get the effort on target and hope that there wasn't any sort of placement or try to get into one of the corners or anything like that. And that was something that frustrated me, even though it wasn't going to count anyway, if that makes sense. That, I would like to see a decent finish from there, because even though it's ruled outside, that decent finish can carry on for the next 3 games for the season. That he can say, well, look, if I'd held the run a little bit earlier or the ball being played earlier, that was a goal. Whereas you can't, when he puts a shot in like that, it's pretty much straight at the keeper. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, it was. We just were a little bit scrappy. I did think we missed Shaw when he went off and Lascelles came on. We didn't look. We only had Byrne who could really play a ball from the back out the two centre backs. There was a lot of more negativity with the balls, and he kept on trying to go back to Dubravka and stuff like that. And you were sometimes a bit in difficulty in the corners and stuff like that. It just, you can tell now. I think obviously watching Shaw and Byrne together over recent weeks and months that. They're both head and shoulders above Lascelles, whether he's club captain or not. And we all said that once Lascelles is out of the team, the only way he's going to be coming back in due to an injury. So fingers crossed for me that Shaw's not too bad for next week, because if Lascelles is playing against Man City, it could be scary, if I'm honest with you. And the second thing is, we've been really, really positive on Kraft recently. And he has been, the resurgent in the last month or so. He's been great. What I didn't like today, though, from him, and I would say this about any player if I saw it, it was as soon as Salah came on and Diaz got switched to the left, Kraft just did not fancy it one bit. He just did not fancy it. You could see it, and it was like, he was chasing back and stuff like that, and then he was going down, and you could just see he was coping well with Mane. But then you had a proper out-and-out skillful fast winger, and Kraft just thought, nah, I can't do this. I really can't do this. And he went down with cramp a couple of times and stuff like that. And then he was down getting his breath, and then all of a sudden, that was it. Eddie Howe went, nah, that's it. Bring him off. And you look back, he brought Murphy on, and when you had Mankey on the bench, you really said you had to put Murphy on for the pace, just to cope with Diaz as a threat on the break and whatever. So I was a little bit disappointed in that from Kraft, but Bruno did his best. I don't think Joe Linton was. He had a fantastic game on the left at Norwich last week, but I think with Something I was talking to someone at the game about. The one thing today is, yes, he was moved on the left today, and they played, Maxi more through the middle, which I think was a bit of a risk, if I'm honest. I think, Wood would have been better up there from the start. A big man to take, they had two big centre-halves, and if you have a big man there with him, it sort of like causes a bit more of a problem. But Joe Linton they moved him onto the left, and the game plan is, and he might have talked on this during the game or whatever. Every time there was a goal kick, they were aiming towards Joe Linton on the left. But what the difference was is they had a centre back playing at right back in Joe Gomez. So he was getting, he wasn't up against a full back every time that ball was coming across to win the ball for flick-ons and stuff like that. So he wasn't perhaps winning as many as he possibly could have, which was, he just didn't look the same as he did last week. And you've got to look, you were talking Norwich and Liverpool, opposite ends of the table, pretty much. Joe Linton was world class last week. The whole team were, but when then obviously you play up against a better caliber of player, he did struggle on that left again, and he looked better when he came back into the midfield after Willock went off and Wood came on in the middle and Maxi went back out the left. Miggy today non-stop running again. That he's for the press, chasing the ball. Never let the team down, and you could tell towards the end, and that might be something that really that Kraft might be struggling with. Miggy was shattered; he'd done that much running, and then perhaps it was the 2-on-1. Robertson was still bobbing forward when whoever it was, Marnie or Diaz, was on the left, sort of thing. So, that could have been something. Maxi again today, I don't think he had a great game, if I'm honest. He got into a really good effort in the first half towards the goal. It worked his way inside, which he's been doing quite a lot this season. And as one of my mates said, it was in the chat afterwards. He normally watches us. I don't know if he's in chat. We've been talking to him. We haven't been getting to the comments as much.
I don't know where you are in the comments, so I just let you get back to you in a second.
But, Brian, if you're in the chat, he did say it was. It's like, you've. This job's a craft at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? This is the full-time job. They spend hours on the training pitch. If you can't cut inside and get a ball on target and not scuff a ball, then there's something needs to be worked on even more. Because the amount of times that Maxim's come inside, and don't get me wrong, and I hold my hand to be, there's the odd time he does come inside and he puts an absolute worldie of a finish in. But you're looking at probably, let's say, 1 and 3, and the other two don't really, or either tame and goes straight to keep it, or he scuffs them quite a lot. He doesn't, I don't know if it's just because of the pace he's running at, and he's perhaps running a bit quicker than what the ball is, and he just doesn't connect with it properly. I don't know. But I think he could have done better with that effort in the first half. And and I said to you about us having a go at them, the thing that bugged me most was it was into the last 10 minutes when we had our only shot on target, and that was Bruno, which was straight at Alisson at the end. We just didn't test them. And I think that was the disappointing thing for me. But at the same time, we stuck our guns. Yes, Dubravka had a fantastic game, kept the scoreline down. But it shows what a few quality additions in the summer, will make the difference. And we could be up there competing alongside them and giving them a bit more of a go next season.
Yeah, okay, that's 5 things now. I want to come back in you there, Rich. I'm going to start with the last one first. I think it's going to take more than one season before we're up there with Liverpool and Man City. I think, I actually, going back to what we talked about, I think our target next season should be trying to finish ahead of Man United. That's my own personal target. But anyway, back to a couple of points you said. The one where ASM played the ball through to Wood. If that had been Wilson in that position, he'd be more clinical. That's what you don't get from Wood. Wood is good. He does a job. He holds up the ball. He flick-ons and so on and so forth. And it'd be interesting to see if he ever plays alongside Wilson in a 4-4-2 or something like that. But he's not. He's not clinical. That's one point. That's the second point. The third one on ASM. Yeah, I would never play him up front there in his own. For me, he's on either wing. It's where I play him. So I just kind of frustrated when I see him playing up in the middle. Then you mentioned Lascelles. Look, I'm not going to slag off Lascelles. He only came on. He's the squad player for us next season if he's sticking around. He's not going to be captain either. And also, for me, as you were saying, he's never the one to bring the ball out and bring the ball forward like Byrne and Char do. He's always kind of like backstepping the whole time. He's like backstepping. And then he just launches it. That's it's. I don't know. It frustrates me in that sense as well when I see him playing. Was there another point? Was there a fifth point I was going to bring up? No, it doesn't matter. It's gone. But yeah, you're still flicking through the comments there, Richie, as well. It's a nice one on that.
Catch up.
So yeah, look, let's talk about man of the match. I think we've kind of nailed our colours to the master already. For me, it's Dubravka, man of the match, with the amount of saves. Not many saves he did, but he pulled off some great saves for us today. And it's always the case when we're giving goalkeepers the man of the match, then you know what kind of day it's been. We've either got a fluky draw back in the good old days, or a defeat, and yeah, today was a defeat. But you're aligned with that as well, Richie? Dubravka?
Yeah, completely agreed. Dubravka was man of the match for me as well. Echo everything you've just said there, Daz.
Yeah. Bruno obviously was a standout as well. And I didn't notice that actually what you said about Kraft. I didn't really notice that so much towards the end. But yeah, no, I take your point, and that's probably why he was hooked off then as well. And Miggy running all over the place. But yeah, Target had a good game as well. But they're up against the star on show for me though was Diaz. He was class. Really, really good player. Good signing by Liverpool. But yeah, so we agree. Dubravka gets man of the match for today. Then at this stage, I'm going to give a shout out to the sponsors and to remind people that anyone that's watching to hit while you're looking through the comments and starring any questions, Richie, is if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. It's a red button in the bottom right hand corner of your screen if you're watching this back, and it's free. And if you want to become a member, which I believe someone was a member at the start of the show as well. There was a name at the start of the show.
Yeah, it's Alan. There you go.
Alan has become a member there. So welcome, Alan. And it's $1.99 a month. And you get it put into the prize draws. Then, yeah, shout out then to our sponsors are blackandwhitearmy.com. and 1881, both Brahman's brands, and you all know already. Actually, someone asked me where do you find that? If you put in 1881 into Twitter at Newcastle, I'm sure it'll come up. But you'll find, or definitely put it into Twitter, put it into Google as well, and you should find it. But I've linked it off someone asked me in the YouTube comments. Shout out as well to shybarnes.com and the range that Simon does, and go check the website out, shybarnes.com, and to Pins and Prints and the range that Dean has for Pins and Prints. And I said, since we were talking about it the other day, I said I would wear where is it now? The half and half. Here it is. The blue one, the denim version of that. So I've both of those kits. But yeah, check out Pins and Prints. So then let's talk about, is there anything, Richie, you want to bring up from the chat first of all?
I'll go across a few of the start things that we discussed already. Jeffy Hansen there, he said referee should have been in red. I think a lot of people thought that today, especially everybody that was wearing black and white in the ground today thought that. There's two that sort of come through I've got to so far. It's both off Yano and it's both regards Matt Target. He said, I predict we will not sign Target in the summer, and he's backed it up by saying what are our thoughts. He showed a complete lack of pace today. During one of the Liverpool breaks, Kraft has shown to be 10 yards faster than over 30 yards.
That's right. It was Salah when Salah come on.
Yeah,
that was one of the because he doesn't look like he's moving fast, Salah, but he was moving fast. But okay, he was fresh as well coming on at that stage in 70 minutes. And yeah, that was the other point I was going to bring up. It was that when Salah come on, it was a different ball game. They upped it again, like as you expect from a class player. But yeah, I know that the pace did show from Target, but he's still class, and I'd get him in the squad even as a. Will we sign two left backs, or will we sign, let's say, Target and a kind of wing back that can play both positions, like that guy Aaron Hickey from Bologna? the Scottish lad. I think he can play on both positions, so that would be option for me. That's it, but it depends who we're letting go, of course. But what's your thoughts there, Rich?
On top, do you know what? I think Target's been fantastic, and since he's come in, he's been a breath of fresh air. Actually, I hadn't really seen much of him. When he was at Southampton, when he was at Villa, but the fact that I think Rafa looked at him originally as well, and obviously we went back at him. So there's got to be something there, so to speak. And I think he's done fantastic since he came in. I think I said he was man of the match, possibly he was good against Palace. I think it was. So you talk, as you said, Salah, when Salah came on and then he knocked the ball past him and he was gone. But as you said, he'd been on. He'd already had a hard shift against Diaz before that. And to be fair, I thought he did all right against Diaz, bear in mind how skillful, how tricky, how fast he was. Yes, you're not always going to be able to possibly counteract every single thing off like a world-class international footballer, which Diaz is and like Salah is. So to come up against both of them today, he didn't do too bad. And yes, wingers are usually fast. But I think sometimes look at Target actually, his recovery is sometimes quite good. If he can get into a position where he can make a recovery, he will. I think one thing I'd like to see a bit more of is a little bit more going forward. I think because he is good going forward. But do you know what? I would still sign him. I would off what I've seen.
So would I.
He's as we said before. If people are having I think, and I agree with that. He's saying he might not. You've got to remember you're playing Liverpool, who are one of the world's best teams at this moment in time. And as we've said at the start, the amount of combinations of players they can have for that front three is scary. That the rest of them, Salah was on the bench today, and they still had Diaz, Jota, and Mane on the thing. I think Mane was naughty on Dubravka second half. I thought that was very, very naughty, and it was, I don't know if that was one of the reasons why he was hauled off. Possibly, I don't know, because obviously it was a booking straight away. He was getting riled up. Yeah. But the fact that you still don't even bring Firmino on, and you've got Origi on there as well. It's just scary that any of those would probably walk into the Newcastle front three, and it's just they've got them on rotation. And I think that, as I said earlier on, that's the difference between the two teams today. That final third, the quality that they had there. So and it takes us to the point that I was going to next with. We touched on it. Joy Tune for life. Liverpool are quality. To be fair, in the future we have more pace in midfield and 100% up front quality counts. And it's backed up what the main difference was today. So that's what we've got so far when I was going through. So if there's anything
that's fair enough, Richie. And look, it just kind of really highlights as well that like up front is where we really, really need to strengthen. And look, as we said before, we'll have Callum Wilson back, but how long will he stay back for when we start into next season? So that's why I keep saying we need two forwards when we're going shopping. But they're the most expensive to buy as well. Also, then want to mention our tomorrow, and Richie, you hope to get to this tomorrow. That we've got the ladies are playing tomorrow. The ladies are playing at St James's Park. And that game kicks off at 2 p.m. So, and if as many people as possible could get to that, all the better. And I think it's £3 in.
It's cash turnstiles, £3 for adults. Child's getting free. They're opening the stand up first, and then depending on obviously how the seats get taken, then they're hopefully going to open. I think it's the Gallagher after that. So. They made a push for it. The record for a British women's game is 26,000, and they just want to see how many people come out and support the girls. If it got to that sort of levels, then absolutely fantastic. But as Becky Langley said on the day, any fan that comes along to watch the game is much appreciated to increase the interest in the women's game at Newcastle. It's nice that the owners have set goals for them as well, and they're going to put the increased investment in them as well, because a team like that shouldn't be in the league they currently are at the moment. And that's they're in a league with they're playing Alec Town tomorrow, which is a Northern League team, They're in the same league as Chester Street Town, which is my local town for the women's team. And to be fair, the Chester women have had a decent team over the last few years. But it's cried out, Newcastle shouldn't really be in that league. They should be higher, but that's obviously just lack of interest over the last few years from the previous owner.
Exactly, Rich. Let's look at the table then and see where it leaves us, because it has changed a bit, the games that are on today. So here we go. As you would know as well, that Norwich are now relegated. It's mathematically impossible for them now to get out of it. So with both Burnley and Leeds now on 34 points. So Norwich City are gone. They're in the Championship next season. Watford are just clinging by. They were defeated by Burnley today. They were 1-0 up, and Burnley then came back into it. I think it was 2-1 the final score.
Yeah, I watched the second half of that, because obviously I just want to say I see the turnaround that Burnley have had over the last few weeks, and second half Burnley were outstanding, never gave up. That they made a few people were a bit shocked and took Weghorst off, and perhaps he wasn't playing his best as well, but also they weren't giving him the service for it as well. He begrudgingly went off. They made changes and went on to win. So then, if you look back at it, does the changes make the difference and they get the result? You can argue yes, they do. But I've got to say that the first goal that came in, it's the sort of service that Weghorst would have been dying for, so to speak. So, but I've got to say, and I said this in our chat earlier on, there was a few people that said when we brought Wood in, then Burnley signed Weghorst, that he's why wasn't he someone that we went for? He was a Dutch international, half the cost of what Wood was. The way he reacted when he went off, he trudged off around the pitch. He went and sat in the dugout. And then when all the teams are celebrating, scoring the equaliser, and then they've got the winner, and they're all excited, trying to hold on, everybody, even all the subs, all the physios, all the coaching staff were up and about, motivated. He just sat there in the back of the dugout, just wasn't even bothered. When they were celebrating the goal, all the staff, the coaching staff were up, and subs were. He just had a quick look at the goal on the iPad. He probably cursed in his luck, because obviously the service that came in for it, I don't know. But to me, it just sort of highlighted possibly one of the reasons why we didn't look at him. Eddie Howe's touched several times on the fact that he's looking at players with character and a certain, they've got to buy into the team spirit, and it's not all about them sort of thing, and the right leadership qualities and stuff like that. And he said that numerous times. Perhaps that's one reason why he didn't. Newcastle didn't look at him.
That's all right. So that leaves a real shootout with that, because Watford are going to be gone the next couple of days, really. It's a shootout between Everton, Leeds, and Burnley, and it is not looking good for Everton. And now I have the fixtures as well. We'll take a look at that in a few minutes, but it really is not looking good for Everton. And Burnley, as you said, Richie, that they seem to be on fire now. That's 3 wins for them on the spin.
The caretaker coach who's coming to Sean Dyche, he's had 4 games and he's took 10 points out of 12 games.
Unreal.
Yeah.
He'll probably get the manager's seat then, and you know what happens then when he gets the full time, it's downhill then.
It will be.
But maybe, and of course we look where Newcastle is as well. We I'll just go back and push it up a small bit that table. Yeah, so we dropped down from 9th to 10th. Because Brighton had a good win today, so we're remaining on 43 points. We now have an X beside us. But still, we can still 3 games left. There's still 9 points to play for, but we have to play City. So we could still potentially move up a bit higher, but we will see. So we remain in the top half of the table for now. Even though Leicester have 3 games to play as well. At one point, we did move down to 11th, but then Southampton let their lead slip, and Crystal Palace came back and to clinch that game at the end. Yeah. So that's us up at 10th. But yeah, let's look at the run in then. I'll remove the table. Now let's go back to it again, and we'll bring up the fixtures. So we just put this together right before we came on there. So Everton have 6 games to play. Burnley 4 and Leeds 4. So, and as we know, there's a 5-point gap now between Everton and Burnley and Leeds. So let's look at Everton's games first. So Richie, let's go. What are you thinking? So I'm saying Everton, they're not going to beat Chelsea. They're not going to beat Leicester. The Watford will probably be relegated at that stage. So they should win that one. Brentford, they'll be on the beach, but I still think Brentford will get something from that. So maybe 4 points there for Everton. Crystal Palace and Arsenal, I don't think they're going to get it. I think I can see them getting maybe get five more points. Everton.
Right,
what are you thinking?
Do you know what? It's interesting you say 5 points, right? Because I agree. I don't see them getting anything at Chelsea tomorrow, and that puts them 5 points behind Burnley and Leeds.
Yeah.
So yes, okay, it might be. You start looking at, is it goal difference against the others? But at the same time, it's also what goals you're possibly going to concede as well. Now, yeah, you look at, there's 3 games at home. They've got a decent home record apparently under Lampard, but I haven't seen really anything decent at all from them under Lampard. Obviously, I was at the home game. I watched the away game, and it was a sucker punch at the end. That the game was broken down by the guys. Cable tied up with the goal. It's totally disrupted the game. We couldn't get our flow back, and then obviously we got sucker punched in stoppage time. Sort of thing. But it's a big game tomorrow. That Burnley game, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to watch it, and hopefully they got the winners. Everton have got a big. If they lose tomorrow, 5 points off the 2 teams. Even though they've got a better goal difference over Leeds, definitely the Burnley one's a little bit more closer for them. But it's 5 points is a lot to make up out of 5 games, especially when you've got Arsenal at the Emirates. They're probably going to beat Watford. Watford have lost 11 home games in a row, which is a record in the top flight, where they have not taken any points at home. They were lucky against Leicester at Goodison the other week, so I don't really see them getting anything next week at Leicester. But also Leicester have got the second leg of the Conference Cup as well, so team selection might they could be a bit tired. I don't know on that one as well. But as you said, you can see them possibly getting 5 points. Then you've got it takes you on to Burnley and Leeds. Do they pick up points from any of their 4 games? And if they do, Everton are in deep shit.
And while you were talking there, Richie, I noticed there was an error in the file. So where I got this data from, it did actually say, if you look at, because Burnley are playing Leeds the last game of the season, but Leeds says it's playing Brentford. So just corrected that. So I should say Burnley.
Yeah, we're playing Burnley last game of the season.
So I don't know. So wherever I got this, it was actually a Burnley website that I got this data from. So look at it. Ignore that.
Perhaps it's just optimism on their front. Do you think they're going to get safety against Leeds on the last game of the season?
Ignore that data. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everton are going down. That's all you need to know. Sorry, Chris. So let me see.
I've got a feel that's why Chris had to take the missus out tonight.
Yeah, let's. While you're looking through, Richie, to see is there any more comments. I'll just tell people what's coming up in the next couple of days. So on Wednesday we have Paul from the Toon Review is going to come in and join us for a show on Wednesday. So we'll be talking all things Newcastle and wherever else happens to pop up before then. So looking forward to that, having Paul on. And if you haven't subscribed to Paul on the Toon Review, not many people haven't at this stage, but make sure you subscribe to Paul as well. Then also we will be back on probably Thursday with an away days. I imagine Pete will be back with the away days. So we just don't know who will join there in terms of a guest. And then we'll be back for a reaction show as well for the City game. It'll probably be a reaction like this. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't see it's getting much against Man City, especially with their challenging for the title as well. But you never know; surprises do happen. Then, if we fast forward a bit, with a big other shows in between, here and then as well. But coming up on the 18th of May is we've got Sean Casey back with us. Like I said, so Sean is back with us for a show on the 18th of May. So that's it for what's coming next. Richie, any more questions in the chat?
To have a look what we've got. Jeffy Hansen, another interesting one again. Obviously, we were talking about Man City next week. Apparently, Leeds had to go up Man City tonight and look at the result that they got tonight. I don't think that Eddie Howe is tactically naive to that. I don't think we'll be going to Man City trying to have a go, if I'm honest. I just thought that with Newcastle being at home today, the Fortress St James's Park have become, the changes Liverpool made, it would have been nice to see them have a bit more of a go. That was the only thing I would say on that one. Just that falls on a bit onto what Terraces says. Please, guys, we should cut some slack to our players because it's almost hypocritical to expect more than we got from this match when you compare two teams. I don't think we've been overcritical, if I'm honest. I don't know if you agree with that, Dad. I don't think we've been overcritical. I think it's more just, reality. How well a team's been playing. Are we a little bit disappointed that we didn't see more from what the team as such? And as I said, I think we've both said that the main difference between the two teams today, which is a credit to the majority of the players on the pitch, was the final third. The rest of the team matched everybody up pretty well. Dubravka had a good game, made some good saves. But I think that was the main difference. I don't think we've been overly critical as such. And I know, Terraces is a great supporter of the channel. We always appreciate his comments. And everyone's entitled to their opinion. I wouldn't say we were overcritical. That's all I would say on that one.
Imagine, Richie, like they had Trent, they had Salah, they had Thiago, and they had Fabinho on the bench as well. So look at they could have. On another day, and if Dubravka wasn't on form, it would have been at least 3-0. So, but I'm not criticizing our players at all. Look, they've done the job already, and it didn't look like they were on the beach or either. They were pressing, they were going for it as well. They tried their best today, just like the golfing class, really. Like we, as we said before, we were in 19th, 20th in the league before Eddie Howe took over, and Liverpool were also up at the top. So we've done great to get where we are, but like reality check, we are where we are, but we were probably even flying too high at the moment. A lot of work to do, a lot of. Look, face it. A lot of, as we said in our squad game, as I bring it up again, is that there's a lot of dead wood there in the team that needs to go. We need a refresh. Like we've had a lot of the players there that are playing since we were in the championship, or as part of the squad since we were in the championship. So we need to freshen up. We need to have a strong bench as well to be able to bring on and to change the game, and especially going into having 9 subs, 9 spaces on the bench to choose from next season. We need to up our game, and it's going to take time. Rome wasn't built in a day either. Like we need to step by step. As we said the other day, I'm hoping for 8th next season. Hoping for a bit more, but 8th is the target for me, and build on that. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take. I think I said it to some of my friends in all Liverpool fans. Give us 3 years, and then we'll give you a game. So bit by bit, we'll be up there with Liverpool and City as well. But
I've got one that Adam McCarthy target is someone for now, not later, in my opinion. In the 4th window, you get that upgrade. Possibly agreeing. But you've also got to think to bear in mind we've still got Jamal Lewis in the squad, and I think he'll be involved next year. And I'd like to see if Eddie Howe can get the player that Jurgen Klopp saw at Norwich. We've touched on that a few times over the last 6 months or so since Eddie Howe's come in. So it'd be good to see if that's we might already have that left back in the squad, but we just haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, and the
exactly,
Eddie Howe factor
yeah.
as well. Like he gets the best of the players. Look at how many players he's got the best of, and got them playing at different stages. There's Joe Linton, obviously, but Miggy in the last couple of weeks is playing well as well. And there's a number of different players, like Shar as well. He's got a new contract out of it now. So there's work to be done, and a full preseason with Eddie Howe as well. And hopefully we can, as you said, I think in a previous show, Richie, we always don't start great this season great, but with a full preseason, you imagine we would tear into it at the
I don't think Eddie Howe would let them start slow. I just he's pretty critical on and he's got an eye for detail and stuff like that. So I can't see that being the case. And with the quality of players we're looking to bring in, I don't think you'd be able to start slow. Sometimes people have said we've started slow because of the quality we've had in the squad and our players haven't been good enough and stuff. Hopefully next season we haven't got any of those to be an excuse in the future. So, and Craig McCavan has got a fantastic comment. It's nice to see that Kevin Keegan must have been on the TV somewhere today. Either that or he's just put his personal twist on stuff. But he's just said, I would love it, just love it, if Everton went down. I love that, mate. To be fair, that's quite good.
I don't have a massive hatred towards Everton. I just been really impressed with Burnley and the turnaround that they've got on, especially like when you think about we took their best striker in Chris Wood. So it's a fair play to them, really. Especially that we're well out of it now. We don't have to worry about it. So well done.
There's an interesting fact from Keith for tomorrow. Chelsea haven't beaten Everton at Goodison Park in their last 4 visits. So, but have Everton been have Everton been that bad in the last 4 visits? Yeah. So that's the thing on that one as well.
But great stat from Keith. Stat out. Nice one.
Yeah, it is. And he followed up. He said he reckons he can get that. He can see Everton nicking a 1-0 tomorrow. So
what's the odds on that? I wonder, Keith.
I don't know. Will he put his money where his mouth is, though, on that one? That's the different thing.
I wouldn't.
But that seems to be a lot of the questions in now. So it's
cool.
Where you want to go next? So just quickly, we'll just touch on this one. This one's just come in as a round-off one from Aditya. It's Richie Lewis, Dummett, Murphy, Mankio, Hendrick, Hayden, Woodman, Darlow. 9 will go, 9 will come. Do we agree, Daz and Richie? And I think, as you just touched on, Daz, Aditya, check out squad game that we did about a couple of weeks ago. We take all of the cover every single player in the current squad and who's on loan, and we discuss all the players. And as I think you've got that little slide still up there, Daz, haven't you? If you want to show it up there, just that's roughly where we were at. If you cover
what forgot Clark. I don't think Clark was on his list there. He should definitely be going as well. And, we said we'd. I think we've kind of agreed now that we're between those in the kind of pink color there, or even magenta. Would you call it magenta? We'd keep Kraft and let Mankio go, and we're probably keeping Miggy and letting Murphy go, based on current form.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I thought Kraft had been better than Mankio recently, and I think when we both actually did the show, I think we were both fighting for. We were both fighting for Miggy, were we? Or were you for Murphy?
No, I was backing you for Kraft, Richie, and Chris and Pete were keeping Mankio, and on Miggy, I was letting Miggy go, but I let him down a challenge. But I was keeping Murphy based on the length of his contract that he has with us. But then Miggy just upped his game, so it was nice that he was listening to the show, and he's been really good the last while. No, he always gives it his all, and he's running. But the last few days, he's getting closer to actually catching someone with all that running. But still, he'd be a squad player for me if we are keeping him. But if we got a good decent offer, I would let him go.
Yeah, and Keith went and backed up his stats there. Everton just under 4-1 in Chelsea tomorrow. just at the 4-1 to beat Chelsea tomorrow.
No, I wouldn't take that. I'd want 16-1 for Everton to beat Chelsea. But no, I think Chelsea will do them tomorrow. And Jen, of course, that the whole discussion on the whole Chelsea ownership is playing out in the background as well. I know we had a good chat about that with, what I must mention it now, is with Mitch there on Wednesday night. And yeah, and then there's a few developments then on Friday on that front. So
I'm surprised he didn't borrow a quote off Sean Casey for that, like, and just basically put a tweet out saying, "Like I said."
Like I said, yeah. Oh, we'll have enough of that come the 18th of May with Sean and his HP sauce. I think, Richie, that's it for tonight. We'll bring it to a close. Thanks everyone for joining us. Look, we're still smiling. It was a defeat today. I had this down as defeat, and I think most people will have the City going down as defeat. Look, we'll turn up and we'll give it a game. We're away from home in the next one though, so we won't have war flags in the back, and so it's going to be very difficult for Newcastle in that one. But then after that we're into Arsenal, and we'll give Arsenal a game, and Burnley then that could be a massive game in the season. Like, it could be go down to the wire, and all eyes could be on our game, and whoever Everton are playing. Who do we say? I've deleted that thing now because a lot of data is wrong on it. Whoever Everton are playing in the last game of the season, it could be.
I think they're at the Emirates. I think they're at Arsenal.
Oh, that was Arsenal. Oh, God.
So that could be that looks as though it will be a game end of the season, because they could possibly be top 4 place in a relegation place. Yeah. I imagine that'll be one of the games covered on the last game of the season.
Exactly. So look, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll leave it there. We'll see you during the week, and we end it now. We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you have to.
Manager of the year.
Yeah.
How? Good luck. Good night.
Good night.
See you soon. Oh.